security in 6 counties of the North Rift. The counties in question are Baringo, Elgeyo Marakwet, Turkana, West Pokot, Samburu, and Laikipia counties. The Committee on Administration and Internal Security already conducted its visit in these 6 counties that have insecurity issues and laid its report on the 13th of August, the year being 2024. The debate on this motion has already been concluded upon, and what awaits the House is the vote on the report by the House Committee on Administration and Internal Security having been debated on the floor of the House. We have a number of bills lined up for first reading. Among them is the quorum has been achieved. Allow me to...
Clerk.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, April 16, 2025, afternoon sitting. Report of the Auditor General and financial statement of Kitelakapel Technical Training Institute for the year ended 30th June 2022, and the certificates therein in respect of 2. Reports of the Auditor General and financial statement for the years ended 30th June 2023, and the certificates therein in respect of A. Fire Technical and Vocational College, B. Garzen Technical and Vocational Training, C. Godoma Technical Training Institute, D. Kajiado East Technical and Vocational College, E. Kajiado West Technical and Vocational College, F. Kandara Technical and Vocational College, G. Katine Technical Training Institute, H. Kerich Township Technical and Vocational College, I. Kaminini Technical and Vocational College, J. Kipipiri Technical and Vocational College, K. Konoin Technical Training Institute, I. Limuru Technical and Vocational Training, M. Madenge Technical Training Institute, N. Madioya Technical and Vocational College, O. Nachu Technical and Vocational College, P. Nairobi Technical and Training Institute, Q. Daragwa Technical and Vocational College, R. India Technical and Vocational College, S. PC Kinyajui Technical Training Institute, T. Shamberere Technical Training Institute, U. SOT Technical Training Institute, V. Sotik Technical Training Institute, W. Tetu Technical and Vocational College, X. Dika Technical Training Institute, Y. Weru Technical and Vocational College, and Z. Ziwa Technical Training Institute. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I lay.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Honorable members, I will give 3 members at statement time, which is now. While I'll do that, Majority Leader or Whip, check and see if the Minister for Treasury is Minister for Treasury, National Treasury, is within the precincts of Parliament. Let him not come in now, but let him be on standby. As soon as we finish the statements, we will then call him in. We'll have statements, one from John Kagusha. After John Kagusha, Wangare Mother, then close with a farewell statement from Honorable Ruku. He wants to say something to the House as he exits. So Kagusha, where is Kagusha? Wangare?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 44-2C. I rise to request a statement from the chairperson of the Committee on Finance regarding the measures being taken by the government in respect to its mandate of regulating and controlling gaming activities in Kenya, specifically the so-called Aviator game of chance. Mr. Speaker, gaming has stifled livelihoods across the country in both rural and urban setups. The craze has terrorized both women and men and the youth in equal measure by gobbling up livelihoods. There are numerous cases, Mr. Speaker, of students gambling on their school fees, parents gambling on their savings. Mr. Speaker, there has been an unabated drive by registering gaming firms to place advertisements on leading TV and radio stations during prime time using their abnormal profits financial muscle. There is evidence of a firm whose betting and gaming activities are part of prime time news in one of the most watched TV stations in the country. Mr. Speaker, this game of chance in the country called Aviator, where a virtual aeroplane flies carrying with it odds that purportedly multiply stakes placed by gamers. This Aviator game of chance has become addictive to the youth, women and men, and has left many of them destitute. This Aviator game, Mr. Speaker, is addictive because one does not need prior knowledge of any sporting activity or club to place a bet, and the results are instant. It is against this background, Mr. Speaker, that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Finance Committee on the following. Number one, what is the legal status of the registration of Aviator game of chance in Kenya? Number two, how much revenue are we getting as a country from the taxes collected from betting and gaming activities in the country? Number three, the statistics from the Department of Planning on how much Kenyans are spending per year on betting and gaming activities. Number four, the steps being taken by the Betting Control and Licensing Board to control the proliferation of all manner of advertisements on audio, visual, and print media relating to Aviator game. Number five, table the criteria and regulations used by the Betting Control and Licensing Board to authorize and regulate the Aviator game of chance in the country. Number six, table a list together with license numbers and dates of firms, including media stations, that are authorized to conduct games of chance in the country. And finally, Mr. Speaker, table a list from the Betting Control and Licensing Board of ongoing and concluded disciplinary cases against errant betting and gaming firms and media stations in the country for the last 1 year. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mother Wangari. Chairman Finance. Where is the Chairman Finance, Osoro? Tell the Chairman Finance to bring a statement response on Thursday.
Much obliged.
I also know people who have been destroyed by that.
Much obliged.
That gambling site. Kagusha.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
I call you twice. You are not here. So the most decent thing to do is to apologize to the House for not being here when we needed you.
Honorable Speaker, I profusely apologize for not being here. Honorable Speaker, the majority whip is insisting that I mentioned that my family is in the Speaker's gallery, and I welcome them, and I'm happy to have them here, my wife and my girls. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of the Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding road safety at Montezuma Mona Lisa Funeral Home along Thika Road. Honorable Speaker, the Montezuma Mona Lisa Funeral Home in Kabati, situated along the heavily trafficked Thika Superhighway, experiences substantial pedestrian movement. Regrettably, the absence of a designated crossing point has resulted in a worrying surge in accidents and fatalities, particularly as individuals attempt to cross the busy road to collect bodies of their departed kin from the facility. Notably, the lack of a footbridge at this critical location poses a grave risk to both pedestrians and motorists in the area, which has already been identified as a high-risk zone for accidents. Reports have consistently shown that vehicle-to-pedestrian collisions are among the most common types of accidents along Thika Road, with black spots such as Githurai and Safari Park recording alarming high numbers of incidents. While efforts have been made to install footbridges along certain sections of the highway, the lack of a footbridge at Kabati area leaves pedestrians vulnerable to accidents. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. 1, a detailed report on the number of and nature of road accidents that have occurred in the Kabati area near Montezuma Mona Lisa Funeral Home along Thika Road over the last 6 months, including the contributing factors and specific measures being put in place by the ministry to address road safety concerns near Montezuma Mona Lisa Funeral Home, Thika Road branch, including plans for the construction of a footbridge at the location to reduce pedestrian-related accidents, and the expected timeline for implementing these solutions. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Mwenje, why are you raising your hand?
Honorable Speaker, I just wanted to ride on the question by Kagusha. And Honorable Speaker, we have so many questions pending with the Chair of Transport, and we'd seek your indulgence, Honorable Speaker, that we can get these responses before we go for the long recess, because they affect quite a number of other issues, especially even the 22 and 10% matter that I had raised, Honorable Speaker, in the statement, and is yet to be responded to, despite it being over 4 or 5 weeks now. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Osoro? Where is Osoro? Owen Bayer? The Chair of Transport sought permission from the Speaker to be away this week. Ostensibly, is writing exams. So next week, tell him to bring the pending responses to many statements that have been requested to his committee.
Okay. Much obliged, Honorable
including
Speaker.
This one of Honorable Kagusha.
Much obliged, Honorable Speaker.
DK, what is it?
On the issue of roads, Chair and Speaker, it's important that since it's a matter that is really affecting the 22% in terms of ensuring that the roads can be done in our constituencies, I think instead of the Chair coming with a statement, maybe you should rule that the CS himself, just the same way the CS for Treasury is coming today, the CS himself for roads should appear in this house so that he can be able to address the matter conclusively. Thank you.
Says which CS comes. So Owen Bayer and Osoro, it is yourselves. We have one Wednesday before recess. 2. Yes, if you feel you should bring the CS roads, is up to you.
I think it's necessary, Honorable Speaker, and we commit to have him here maybe next Wednesday or the other Wednesday, Honorable Speaker, before we break.
Okay.
Next is okay.
Okay. We'll do so. So tell everybody who has a statement, request, or question to roads to liaise with the majority leadership to list those questions for next Wednesday or Wednesday down the week. Before I call Honorable Ruku, allow me to acknowledge AIC Lundi Child Development Center from Mwingi Central, Kitui, EAPC Masabit CDC from Saku Masabit, and also to join the Honorable Kagusha in welcoming his family to the Speaker's Gallery to come and see his performance. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, we welcome all of you to the House of Parliament. Honorable Ruku and members, what Ruku is going to say is akin to a maiden speech, but this one is now a farewell speech. We shall hear him in total silence. I've given him 5 minutes to say what he wants to say, and then take his leave if he wishes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker and members, first and foremost, I would like to extend a very big thank you to the Almighty God for the opportunity to serve the people of Bere North in the 13th Parliament since August 2022. It has been the honor of my life to be of service to my constituents as their representative in the Parliament for 2 years and 7 months so far. Let me also express my sincere appreciation to you, Honorable Speaker, my colleagues in the House, and to the clerk of the National Assembly for remarkable support that you have accorded me during my time at the National Assembly, for the friendship and cooperation from each one of you. During my time here at Parliament, I have been an active member of the Departmental Committee on Delegated Registration, as well as Select Committee on Delegated Registration, a Departmental Committee on Tourism and Wildlife. I have taken time to reflect immensely on the 2.5 years that I had the privilege of serving in the National Assembly, and underline the strides I have made through the various legislative tools I initiated as an undertaking of my constitutional mandate. In the regard to bills, as a first-time member of the National Assembly, I have been able to propose several bills that are in various stages of the legislative process, including the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Amendment number 2 Bill of the National Assembly, number 40 of 2023, which sought to amend the Anti-Corruption Economic Crimes Act number 3 of 2003 to remove the delays and undue criminalization of administrative action undertaken in the course of public procurement, which are as a result of frauds in the procurement laws. The bill sought to remove culpability, prescribes on persons in charge of administration, custody management, receipt or use of any part of public revenue or property as administrative frauds, as this can be adequately addressed through other numerous existing provisions, including the express provision in Article 2265 of the Constitution. Number 2, the Assembly and Demonstration Bill, National Assembly Bill number 28 of 2024, which sought to give effect to the provision of Article 37 of the Constitution, which provide for the right person to assemble, demonstrate, and present petition to the public authorities. Number 3, the Election Amendment Bill 2024, the Virtue Asset Bill 2024, the Data Protection Amendment Bill 2023, and Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Amendment Bill 2023, as well as Sustainable Development Bill 2024. I also tabled multiple motions in the period of my service. I proposed various motions seeking the resolution of the House on different critical national and regional matters, particularly motion on developmental policy and funding for junior secondary schools. This was aimed at addressing funding and policy gaps in junior secondary schools, inadequate infrastructure, shortfalls of technology in JSS, and which was adopted on 26 July 2023. The resolutions made by the House was to develop a comprehensive junior secondary school, to ensure proper junior secondary school policy, to ensure proper establishment of the schools and also a clear implementation framework for the competency-based curriculum, and provide a funding plan for successive implementation of the curriculum. Honorable Speaker, I also had a motion on adoption of government-to-government model to acquire and supply fertilizer to farmers at a subsidized cost. Also, the motion on adoption of government-to-government agreement to facilitate local assembly of essential equipment for electricity connection. Motion number 4 on framework of government-to-government on importation and distribution of essential foodstuffs and goods, as well as adjournment motion on the new financing model for the universities, colleges, and technical institution students. Honorable Speaker, beyond registration and policy making, I sought accountability from an executive through 6 statements from chairpersons of various committees, namely 1, statement on payment of the last expense and death gratuity under the NHIF and Public Service Superannuation Scheme. This was in response to the plight faced by bereaved families, particularly the over 800 dependents of persons who died during the COVID-19 period, whom remain uncompensated despite being covered by these schemes. Number 2, statement on sale of Roundup in the country by Bayer East Africa Limited.
Minister nominee, you have 2 minutes to finish.
I expressed my concern over the continued sale of Roundup, toxic herbicide, in Kenya market, despite legal action and compensation in other jurisdictions. It still remains in Kenyan market. I question why the manufacturer was still permitted to sell the dangerous pesticide in the country. Number 3, statement on measures being taken to boost the manufacturing sector in the country. Number 4, statement on settlement of Gire market squatters in Bere North constituency. Number 5, statement on tax incentives claimed by developers operating enterprise within the special economic zones. And number 6, statement on development of mass rapid transit corridors in Nairobi metropolitan area and the role of Nairobi Metropolitan Area Transport Authority. Honorable Speaker, as I continue to reflect on the role I have played in the House, I also wish to highlight the policy questions I asked to the Cabinet Secretaries, Constitutional Commissions, and independent offices. Public service in the area is an area that covers many facets, and being a representative of the people, I oversighted the area of agriculture, anti-corruption, and education, among others, as follows. 1, question to the Minister of Agriculture and Livestock Development regarding the supply and distribution of subsidized fertilizer across the country in preparation of the planting season. Question 2, and Anti-Corruption Commission on the status of monies and properties recovered by Ethics and Corruption Commission under the Proceeds of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Act. Number 3, question on the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Development on the adverse effect of Roundup and upside on the ecosystem on humans.
How much of that statement is left?
2 minutes, Honorable Speaker.
2 minutes.
1 page remaining.
You better finish, okay.
Number 4.
Give him the mic.
Number 4, Honorable Speaker, question on Teacher Service Commission on the inclusivity and recruitment procedures and affirmative action, safeguards to teachers from marginalized groups. Number 5, question to the Public Service Commission on action taken to mainstream marginalized groups and communities in the public service in line with Article 232 of the Constitution and the public service values and principles. Honorable Speaker, I'm fully convinced and confident that the role I have been nominated to in the executive to be an extension of the work I have begun here in Parliament. As a registrar, I was guided by the call to be faithful and diligent in the service to the people. As a Cabinet Secretary for Public Service, Human Capital Development, and Special Programs, the same oath will continue, only on the broader scale and with even more greater responsibility. I am reminded of the ones in the Gospel of St. Luke, chapter 12, verses 48. To whom much is given, from him much will be required, and to whom much has been committed, of him they will ask much more. Honorable Speaker, I am proud to have faithfully represented the people of Barren North and have contributed to legislative agenda and the reparations whose impact will endure beyond my time here. Indeed, should my nomination be approved, which has been approved.
Yes, your nomination has been approved.
Indeed, with my approval, which was done this morning, I will continue to engage with the House though from the other side, particularly during question time and other matters of oversight. Even then, the commitment remains the same: public service to the people of Kenya. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. I thank each one of you, honorable members of this great House. And I thank the people of Barren North for giving me an opportunity to serve in this House and also to serve them as well as the people of Kenya. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Ruku. Honorable members, let's put questions at orders number 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Then we call in the CS.TRESURY.
Order number 8, special motion. Consideration of a nominee for appointment as Principal Secretary, State Department for East African Community Affairs. Question to be put.
Members on their feet, take your seats. Honorable Ruku, you may now exit. Order, Honorable Ruku. Can you walk out? Order. Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 8, which is that taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Relations in its report on the approval hearing of a nominee for appointment as Principal Secretary laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 15th April 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 155, 3B of the Constitution, and Sections 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, this House approves the appointment of Dr. Caroline Wanjiru Karugu as Principal Secretary, State Department for East African Community Affairs. As members of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 9, special motion. Consideration of a nominee for appointment as Principal Secretary, State Department for Science, Research and Innovation. Question to be put.
Take the seat, Honorable Cheng. Honorable members, I'll now put the question at order number 9, which is that taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Education in its report on the approval hearing of a nominee for appointment as Principal Secretary laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 15th April 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 155, 3B of the Constitution, and Sections 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, this House approves the appointment of Professor Abdul Razak Shaukat as Principal Secretary, State Department for Science, Research and Innovation. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 10, special motion. Consideration of a nominee for appointment as Principal Secretary, State Department for Devolution. Question to be put.
Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 10, which is that taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Regional Development in its report on the approval hearing of a nominee for appointment as Principal Secretary laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 15th April 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 155, 3B of the Constitution, and Section 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, this House approves the appointment of Mr. Michael Loakiamnu Lenasalon as Principal Secretary, State Department for Devolution. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 11, special motion. Consideration of a nominee for appointment as Principal Secretary, State Department for Shipping and Maritime Affairs. Question to be put.
Order, honorable members on their feet, take your seats. Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 11, which is that, taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure in its report on the approval hearing of a nominee for appointment as Principal Secretary laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 15th April 2025, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 155, 3B of the Constitution, and Sections 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Cap 7F, this House approves the appointment of Mr. Aden Abdi Miller as Principal Secretary, State Department for Shipping and Maritime Affairs. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 12, motion. State of security in 6 counties of North Rift, being Baringo, Elgeyo Marakwet, Turkana, West Pokot, Samburu, and Laikipia. Question to be put.
Members on their feet, take your seats. Clive, take your seat. Honorable members, I'll now put the question at order number 12, which is that this House adopts the report of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the inquiry into the state of security in 6 counties of North Rift of Baringo, Elgeyo Marakwet, Turkana, West Pokot, Samburu, and Laikipia, declared as disturbed, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 13th August 2024. As members of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, we go back to order number 7. Majority Whip, will you search, and if you find the Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury, bring him to the chamber and produce him before the Speaker. Order. 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 Honorable member for Malindi, where I come from, I'm an African man. Women don't shout at men. And besides that, it is unparliamentary for any one of us to shout at anybody. Honorable members, before I usher the minister to the floor, let's do first reading at order 14 and 15.
Order number 14, the Kenya Roads Amendment number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2025, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Kenya Roads Act. Order number 15, the Public Service Human Resource Management Bill, National Assembly Bill number 51 of 2024, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to make provisions for uniform norms and standards of human resource management in the public service and for connected purposes.
Thank you, honorable members. Honorable members, we have the Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury coming to this House on my direction, following a point of order raised by the Member of Parliament for Bumula, which was joined in by several of you on the fate and status of disbursement of NG-CDF funds, and to some extent, the National Affirmative Action Funds called NGAF. But the front banner is CDF. Honorable members, I may recall to the House that sometime in December last year, before our break, the CS, who is a former distinguished member of this House, having been a minority leader, chair of several important committees, including PAC, and a distinguished economist in his own right, came to the Speaker's office and gave me a breakdown on how he's going to disburse CDF, and I allowed him for that. When we had our midterm retreat in Naivasha, we also invited the CS, and he graciously came and engaged all of you on this very important issue. Today, Honorable Minister, you are here, and I'll give the House 30 minutes to deal with this issue, to give a full, candid statement on the status of disbursement of these funds and the future conduct on how these funds will be disbursed to constituencies. These funds, members, are not your funds. They are funds of the people of Kenya. And when they got the constituencies, they serve the people of Kenya. And this is one of the most revolutionary, devolved function that we have ever had in this country. We will therefore, and I want to encourage you members, hear the minister's statement in absolute silence. Once he finishes, I will allow the member who raised the point of order, the first bite, and then allow a few members to ask clarifications or questions. And once we finish and we are satisfied, we'll let the minister go back to his office. Minister, welcome, and you can now take the podium.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, together with the members of the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya, my former colleagues, let me first take this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to thank you for indulging me and inviting me to come here and talk to a matter of national importance. And I want to agree with you, Mr. Speaker, that National Government Constituency Development Fund has been a revolutionary fund in this country. And I want to also associate myself that this government supports devolution and devolution of resources. Devolution not in the sense of just county governments, but devolution of resources. And CDF, there cannot be any other better fund that is well devolved than, yes, you can use different terminology, decentralized, devolved, but the fact is that money goes to the grassroots. And so I still remain committed to devolution of resources and support to the National Government Constituency Development Fund and the National Government Affirmative Action Fund. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, at the policy level, I want to reiterate that we have a strategy on how to release exchequer, especially on devolved resources. Mr. Speaker, being a former member of this parliament, and it is not long ago that I was here, and I've been here for 17 years, and appreciating the role that CDF plays in our economic development and a support to various social aspects of the society, including supporting education of our children, I voluntarily came to your office without any invitation on a date I can't remember in December to discuss with you the challenges of the release of funds to the national government.
It was on 5th December.
It was on 5th December. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And so when I came, we discussed, and I clearly took notes that we have not been able, or we were not able at that time to release constituency development funds to the constituencies as should be done. So I proposed a schedule on how the funds were going to be released. And so, Mr. Speaker, I just want to discuss with the members what has happened in terms of the release of these funds before I explain the challenges that probably we have encountered. First, Mr. Speaker, when I came, and this House will remember that there was carryover of CDF from the last financial year, money that was not disbursed, money that was appropriated to the National Government Constituency Development Fund, but was not disbursed. So for the 23-24 financial year, out of the total 57 billion 931 million 500,000, only 44.4 billion was disbursed. That left us with a gap, a carryover of 13.531 billion. That was then added to the appropriation for 2024-2025 to give, which was 54 billion 732 million 927 680. That gave us a figure of 68.233 billion for now 24-25 to be paid or disbursed. Mr. Speaker, by the time I came to your office, out of this money, only an amount of 13.5 billion had been disbursed. So in the month of September, on 24th of September, we paid 5.5 billion. The following day, on 26th, 300 million was disbursed. That same September, we disbursed another 2 billion. Then in November, we disbursed 5.73 billion. So that cleared the entire carryover of 13.5 billion. Now, we sat down and I told you, Mr. Speaker, that entire 54 billion has not been disbursed, and we are already in December. We had only 7 months. So I committed myself that beginning December, we would be releasing 7 billion per month. Every month, 7 billion. To the National Government Constituency Development Fund Board. So this is what we did. On 13th December, after coming to your office, the National Treasury released 7 billion shillings. On 20th of February, we again released another 7 billion. Now, you will note that we did not release any money in January. And I will come back to the reasons. In the month of March, again, after releasing the money for February of 7 billion, again we defaulted in February. Now, in March, we defaulted in March. So, Mr. Speaker, in the month of April, and that is not long ago, that is actually today, that is today. What I may not have here is the time, but I have evidence that we released another 7 billion shillings. Now, Mr. Speaker, this amount of 7 billion is to the National Government Constituency Development Fund. But then, for the National Government Affirmative Action, let me just touch on it. The budget was initially 3.2 billion. That was reduced to 2.7 billion after the supplementary budget. We had already released 1.6 billion. Today, we released the balance of 1,104,499,000. So now we have zero balance for National Government Affirmative Action. And one would ask why, I looked at the amount and it looked too little to split again. Now, let me come back to the National Government Constituency Development Fund. Mr. Speaker, the month of January, the month of February, the month of March is usually, those are very difficult months for us at the National Treasury and the economy of Kenya as a whole. I want to explain to my colleagues that these are the months. First, you must pay capitation to schools in the first term. And out of the total allocation which you gave for capitation to primary schools, JSS, and high school of 96 billion, 48 billion must be released in first term. And that we did in total. We released 48 billion. Now, this second term, we will have to release another 14 billion, and then third term, another 14 billion to complete, 24 billion, another 24 billion. The same month of January, Mr. Speaker, this is the time that you pay most of the loans, especially the loans which we took bilateral loan we took from China to pay for SGR. This is the month that we paid on 16th of January, 10.6 billion for foreign payments. The same January 17th, we paid another 59 billion. I want to jump other small amounts and indicate the same January on 24th, we paid 3 billion. The same January on 21st, we paid 1.1 billion. So if you add the total amount that we paid for loans in January alone is 75 billion. You pay 75 billion and you pay salary of 80 billion. Our salary wage bill has moved from 75 billion the way it was in December to 80 billion per month in January. Why? One, we onboarded JSS teachers at enhanced salaries. Omboko Mlemba, Honorable, with his team, agitated for salary increment, which they deserve, and they got it. We also had to adjust the salary of our disciplined forces. We also had to adjust the salary of lecturers who are in the streets with 4.3 billion. Now, that has pushed our salary figures to 80. Now, 80 added to 75, that is already 150 billion. I will tell you, you have not released any money to counties, and you have not released any money to CDF, and you have not released any money for any operations. Now, that tells you that the commitment we have in January is that high. In February, again, the story is the same. And I will tell you that in the month of February, we had a T-bill redemption, treasury bond, not bill, redemption of 51 billion. And redemption is redemption. You pay, it's not rollover. The month of April today, we have on 7th paid a treasury bond of 90 billion, 90.99 billion, 100. So what am I saying in short? What I'm saying in short is that, honorable members, is not that National Treasury does not want to honor commitments that I make to this House. But sometimes you have to balance the needs that come before you. We all know that we had to struggle after the Gen Z's agitation. This economy was shut for almost 2 months. That affected revenue collection. But worse still is that external finances, we have not been able to receive external finances until now. Fortunately now, the doors are opening for external resources. Actually, when I gave this commitment in December, I was very sure that we were going to get external resources by February, March. Unfortunately, that has delayed. And let me just give you some examples. One, on IMF program, you know the 7th and 8th review delayed. 7th review was supposed to come in March. It didn't happen last year. May, it didn't happen. July, that didn't happen. September, it didn't happen. It happened in November, and that is the time we combined 7th and 8th review and got payment from IMF. After that, to prepare for the 9th review, it was not practical for us. So we mutually agreed to let go the 9th review and start another program. So the money that we were to get from IMF of 764 million US dollars, which is almost 100 billion shilling, that one is not coming. So we had to adjust. Now the World Bank disbursement of 600 million is coming in June. Why? Because you remember this House and the Senate delayed in a way, but we thank you for now finally passing the conflict of interest bill, which was a condition. World Bank could not give us money until that bill was passed. That bill has just been passed, and we thank you for it, but now it is unlocking. Today I was with the World Bank representative. It's unlocking 600 million to us. Another amount that has not come is the African Development Bank loan of 265 million US dollars. That again, fortunately, is coming in a week's time. All the conditions precedent have been realized. So, and this year, financial year, I want to tell you here today and report that we have not borrowed made any commercial loan borrowing. We have not borrowed any money commercially. The money that we borrowed was to manage a liability. So it was like we used a Eurobond to pay off Eurobond, which is coming in 2027. And we did that because we want to be proactive. We don't want to work like we worked before, which put us in problems. Now we have paid Eurobond that is due in 2027 because we realized if we delayed it, it was going to cause shocks in our economy. So we have not borrowed any money. We have only borrowed money locally in the domestic market and within the framework, and that is why you can see the interest rates today. 1 year ago, the 91-day Treasury bill was selling at 16%. Today it is 8.5% because of being careful, borrowing, with caution that we don't just go to the market. So let me come back to the issue of NG-CDF. Honorable members, we have 2 months that we have defaulted now. If you take, and by the way, Mr. Speaker, this I can table so that I can demonstrate, because I think my credibility went down a bit. So I can hear a lot, but so this is evidence that we have transferred 7 billion. So this is my commitment. My commitment is that, and by the way, we also have other very pressing demands on Exchequer. One of them is also the transfers to counties. Counties also we have not paid February, March. I want to assume I didn't hear that. But then I want to give a commitment again, because you can see that we have the intention to make sure that there is money released to NG-CDF. I want to give a commitment that in the course of this April, we will give again another 7 billion. So that I am in this month, so that I cannot promise next week, because next week we are paying salaries. We must start paying salaries, but I will make sure that we release another 7 billion to the board, so that we only have 1 month in default or 1 month in arrears. Colleagues, I want to repeat again. If there is anything that under my watch as a minister is not done for National Government Constituency Development Fund, it is not intentional. It is because at times the pressure is too much. Sometimes you have to balance between paying the debts, which you must pay, because if you don't pay debts, by the way, there will be no economy. So we must pay our debts. We must release money to CDF. We must release money to education. We must release money for security. Sometimes we take security for granted when we boast of numbers of tourism rising. We don't know how much threat has been dealt with out there. So we must support our security. Let me conclude, Mr. Speaker, because I know there will be further questions, and ask that we have and plead that as leaders, people out there may not like us. They may say all sorts of things, but we are still their leaders. And therefore, I am just appealing that we are all privileged. We need to be sometimes a little bit cautious. I listened to one of us argue that this country is likely to be taken to pari, that we are likely to default in debt payment. That is irresponsible statement. It is irresponsible, it can cause panic, and it should not come from someone who has chaired Budget and Appropriations Committee. Let me tell you, yes, there were times when we had challenges, but where we are, we don't have a problem with debt sustainability. The numbers are there. The figures are there. Even the IMF has the figures. World Bank has figures. We have been rated out there. The problem we have is about liquidity. Loans were taken at a particular point of time. Most of them are maturing between now and 2032. That is why we have the pressure. After 2032, you go and look at our books and they're public. From 2034 to 2048, we don't have any loan to pay. There is no external loan to pay around that time, whether bilateral, whether commercial, multilateral. We don't have much loans. But between now and 2032, we must work together. This House has a responsibility. Treasury has a responsibility. Executive has a responsibility. We must work together to steady our economy. And that is why some of us were taken to the executive as experts to make sure that we steer the ship. So don't discourage. This process will continue. I am committed to it. There is no time we will default in our loan repayment. This country is strong economically. It is the strongest economy in the region. So let nobody scare people that Kenya is going to default. We may be struggling. But let me ask you, have we failed to pay salaries? No. Have we failed to pay capitation to schools? We paid in full. Are we not meeting our expenditures for security and other matters? Yes. Are we going to release the entire CDF for development of our infrastructure in schools and security and pay bursary? Yes. Are we going to pay money to our counties? Yes. And by the way, let me ask. I have been in this house with you, and I used to sit there. That is my corner. I hope you reserve it for me. I will come back there maybe one time. This is not the first time we have had a delay. In fact, if you look at last financial year, it was worse. The last financial year was worse. And I'm committing to you, you will not have problems. I know there is bursary issues. We have released the 7 billion. I want to try release another 7 billion before schools open end of this month, so that you sort out the bursary and make sure that the balance we don't carry over to 2025, 2026. That is what I'm working on. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I know I took longer than I should have taken, but now I can allow my colleagues, and I can take my water if you give me a bottle of water. Thank you very much.
Order, honorable members. Order. Order, honorable members. Honorable members. The document provided by the minister, which I find authentic, indicates that today, for NGAF, an amount of 1,104,499,800 was released to the State Department for Gender. That is the route through which that money is ordinarily paid. And an amount of 7 billion was released to the State Department for Economic Planning. That is the route through which CDF is paid on its way to the board. The minister has also told you and we will hold him to it. But before the close of the month, we have only 12 days to go, or thereabouts. He will pay another 7 billion. I'll now give Jack Wamboka the first opportunity to ask any clarification.
Honorable Speaker, I want you to protect me from the Deputy Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I appreciate the Minister, one, for coming, and someone is distracting the Minister because the Minister should be listening to this. And first, two things. That we've been patient with the Minister with the things he has been saying. One, because he's a ranking member, former ranking member of this House. We would not have been tolerant, perhaps, if you didn't have those decorations with you. Two, I also must declare that the Minister is my very good personal friend, and we have many things we dream about together for future. Mr. Speaker, a lot of the things the Minister has said is what the Minister said in Naivasha. A lot of them. And Honorable BADI, we respect you. When you went to the Treasury as an expert with Mbadinomics, we expected you, by the time you are giving commitment to this House, you are sure about the things you are saying. You have put our Speaker not in very good light. You are lucky that we also trust our Speaker and we love him so much, because you have been using him as a shield. It does not make sense, Honorable BADI, my good friend, to say you gave the Speaker a plan on how you are going to disburse these monies, then later on you are bringing in the issues of disbursements, of capitation. The BADI, I know, you should have foreseen that. You are an expert. By the time you are giving that commitment, Honorable BADI, those are things that would have been on your fingertips, Mheshimiwa BADI, with due respect. And before even I continue, what we are expecting from you today is 21 billion. The bare minimum and take home, as we speak, is 21 billion. All these other things you are saying, capitation, county money, it is your responsibility as government to send these monies. The year is coming to an end. Mheshimiwa BADI, please do that is needful to our people, and don't bring a lot of issues, Honorable Speaker. Lastly, Mheshimiwa BADI, a lot of college and university students, most of them missed exams because we did not facilitate their bursaries. They will be forced to defer a whole year. A whole year. So how are you going to restitute that? That these students have been deferred and they continue now to live the way they live. So, Honorable Speaker, our bare minimum, don't talk of 2032, 2048, because loans will still be taken by those governments that are coming, we don't know. Because these are things now that we are tired of. We are speaking about now, and we have a lot of trust in you, Mheshimiwa BADI. I particularly know you and particularly know that you can deliver better. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of this House, our bare minimum is 21 billion.
Musa Sirma.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity you have given me. First and foremost is to thank you for bringing the CS.TRESURY here through your initiative and also the demand by members. Mr. Speaker, the amount of 7 billion translates into 23 million per constituency. And the balance which we had been given before, that is 14 billion, shows that every constituency has an average of 46 million. the average amount of bursary to be given by the members at the 40% of what is in the Act, Mr. Speaker,
75.
comes between 70 million and 80 million.
Yes.
And yet, with these 7, we shall just be about 60. So, Mr. Speaker, we would have liked to release the children who are going to school when these bursaries have come up. So, Waziri, we need you to make up on that amount before even we move out of, by getting that 7 million.
Honorable members, I'm giving you an opportunity to seek clarification or ask a question to the minister.
Yes.
Not to engage in debate.
I am giving information, Mr. Speaker, as it is, because I have to translate the figures which we have been given by Waziri into actuals and what it means to the members of parliament and also the public outside. Mr. Speaker, we would like to ask the minister to be able, can he be able to sort out this bursary issue first before we even go for any development, so that the members are able to walk free in their constituencies and be able to do development for the Kenyans there. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Zamzam.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwanza nimpongeze waziri kwa kuweza kuja katika bunge hili kutupa uwazi wa mambo ya maendeleo mashinani. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nataka nikuulize waziri, pesa ya NGAF 3 billion ni pesa kidogo sana. Sasa hata kwa udogo wake, uchache wake, sisi tulikuwa tumeambiwa na rais kuwa atakuja kutuongezea. Tunatamaushwa sana, kwa nini umepunguza milioni 500? Utupe sababu kwa nini umepunguza, zimeenda kwa nani, na kwa nini umeangalia NGAF peke yake wala si pesa zingine. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Yes, Bowen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to appreciate the Honorable BADI for the very good and elaborate response. And Mr. Speaker, we know as a country we are going through a serious economic turbulence. And Mr. Speaker, budgets are projections. And sometimes, based on what we collect is what we have as a country to spend. I just want to ask the Minister, the Honorable BADI, if you can make it probably tomorrow or early next week, you can release the next 7 billion, because before we go for a recess, so that as we go for a recess, we could disperse out the bursaries and we release the students to go back to school. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Mwango.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me a chance to weigh in on this issue. And for me, I want to seek clarity from the CS, Mr. BADI, on the exact date that we are going to put this money in our accounts, because for planning purposes, we need to get clear dates and we need your commitment. And then there was a question that was asked on further commitment on how these funds will always be dispersed to our constituencies. Thank you.
Mwango. Maklap.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to get clarification from the minister. One, a constituency that has 3 wards, how much will it be when you break down the 7 billion, 4 wards, 5 wards, 6 and 7 wards? Because, Mr. Speaker, we need to know the exact breakdown of that money that will be able to justify. Two, Mr. Speaker, from the analysis of the minister, Mr. Speaker, from the analysis of the minister, he has said in January, February, there is a lot of loans. Why don't we exhaust all the money of CDF between the first quarter of the financial year so that we can't go to those months where there is issues of loans in the country, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, God willing, remain the Minister of Finance, but release all the money within the first quarter of the financial year so that children of Kenya cannot lynch members of parliament for non-release of funds, especially for bursaries, Mr. Speaker. And finally, Mr. Speaker, I can also confirm, I sit in Committee of Debt, that the World Bank report, the IMF and the World Bank report scored Kenya out of 34 conditions, 22 conditions Kenyan government was able to succeed, translating to 64.5%. It means we are in good books. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, the minister should be able to finance TCDF once and for all, and we are done.
Kisairo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As one member said, actually, we listened to the Honorable CS, courtesy of him having been our colleague, and we accorded him that respect. Honorable Speaker, in February, the CS was categorical that he was going to send 2 tranches of 7 billion in the month of February, and from that month, it was be 7 billion monthly up to the time he completes sending the amount for this financial year. Honorable Speaker, the CS has now said in February he sent 7 billion. Today, he has sent another 7 billion, which has not reached the board, so we cannot count it. And he's saying, after sending another 7 billion at the end of this month, that he will be in default or he'll be behind by 1 month. What happened, or which calculation is he using? Because if he could have sent twice in February, once in March, which he only did once, skipped the second one, skipped March, we are in April, how can he be 1 month behind at the end of this month? He will be 3 months behind. CS, what we want is 21 billion before the end of this month, if not today, and the rest to be cleared by the end of next month. Otherwise, this is just going to be in circles. This is another promise, and we are not going to achieve anything. It is the members of parliament who are being hogwashed out there in the constituencies. Honorable Speaker, let the CS give us a clear roadmap. What he has given us is speculation. Thank you.
Mary Masse.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. First, I want to appreciate the CS for at least doing something today. But, Honorable CS, you have said that the passing of the bills has unlocked external financing or funding. So in another week or 2, you will have enough resources. I want to propose that you clear with CDF. Honorable Speaker, our problem is not only bursaries. In my constituency and in many of these members' constituencies, we still have our students, the grade 9s, learning under trees. I do not have enough classrooms. So we need the money to be able to construct those classrooms and all the other development projects.
Thank you.
Let us have the money before the end of this financial year, for this financial year. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Sarah Mali.
Mr. Speaker, I do understand that collections of revenue in the country itself is a very tricky thing. And any Minister for Finance will always be on a serious balancing act. There are so many competing priorities that essentially everybody is asking for something, but the Minister is in a very difficult situation. Mr. Minister, can you give us an undertaking that you will have at least before the end of next week another 7 billion in our account, and progressively see how you can give us an undertaking on the rest also? And when you have a situation when there is no sufficient revenue collection, because this is the revenue collections in the country, we understand that we had a finance bill that was shut down. That was the biggest mistake this country made. And then the revenue generation itself is not an easy thing. So, Mr. Speaker, can you give us some kind of an undertaking that by next week, before the end of next week, we have at least another 7 billion in our accounts, and then how you're going to disburse the rest?
The member next to Emase, who is that? Kirima.
Yes.
Thank
you, Mr. Speaker, sir. My good question to the Cabinet Secretary is this. Is the Minister aware that other than CDF, there is no other money which we get for development in our sub-counties or constituencies, and then development which can be seen on the ground? It's only through CDF money, of which we are lucky that the minister concerned is a former member and he has used CDF in his constituency. The chief executive of this country was a member of this house and he has used CDF before. Is the minister keen to release this money before the end of financial year so that we can not have carried debts beyond this year? Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Bensouda.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. You've kept your word by ensuring that CS National Treasury is with us today. Question number 1. We would like the CS to also give us a plan of releasing GAF the same way he has committed the plan of releasing NG-CDF, which is 7 billion per month. Taking into consideration that GAF is just 3.5 billion, which has been reduced, we want to request that this money, at the beginning of every financial year, it is released as a lump sum. Question number 2. The current CS nominee for gender responded in one of our question items that the increased femicide in this country is because the girls are suffering dependency on finance. Could the CS National Treasury come clear now that the students are going to go back to school where the sanitary towels money financing 500 million is, so that we don't have an extended femicide and killing of our girls? It is urgent like yesterday. Number 3, Speaker.
That is sufficient.
Number 3, only 1 second. The 1 billion which were given in last financial year was a presidential directive, and he promised to deliver his agenda on the women. And we are expecting in the next financial cycle an additional of 1 billion. We would like our money not to be touched, not even a shilling. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Women Rep Laikipia. Women Rep Laikipia.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I appreciate my very, very able members, Honorable Bensouda and Honorable Zamzam from Mombasa. Honorable Speaker, thank you for giving GAF the highlight that it requires today, because, Honorable Speaker, this is a fund that in the last 1 year took care of 50,000 children. It has taken care of more than 200,000 groups. It has supported so many of the vulnerable in our community, Honorable Speaker. I want to support what my members asked, and it starts with the first question in regard to the deduction. As much as the deduction was done in this Honorable House, Speaker, it is my plea to the Cabinet Secretary that, going by the President's directive, can we get our money back? Because I believe as much as we give value to infrastructure, we need to give more value to our women, our youth, our persons with disability. They are more important than any of those other functions that we are giving presidents to. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, we also need the gender-based violence money released, which was 100 million that was given by the President as a directive. Thirdly, Honorable Speaker, our children have not stopped having their monthly periods, yet the sanitary towels money has not been released. To the Cabinet Secretary, kindly give us a date on when the money is going to be released, because our girl children are in dire need in their schools. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Kenan.
Mr. Speaker, today is a great day. The person presiding over this chamber is an astute and an all-round politician. The person in the name of the CS is an astute politician right now wearing another hat as a member of the executive. The audience here are all politicians. But luckily, Mr. Speaker, there must be a time when we own up. First, I must admit, there is nowhere in the world where there is enough money. There is no government that has enough resources. Every government, even the mighty, still struggles with resource mobilization. But what the difference is how they prioritize, how they plan, and how they execute and properly manage the resources that they collect. Mr. Speaker, as among the members of parliament, having been around here, I have been reluctant to participate in the launching of my bursary fund. Simply because we must be practical, we must be truthful, and we must tell our conscience what is there. We appreciate you, Waziri, because the alternative will have been to print fake money. The alternative will have been to mint fake money that the economy cannot accommodate. And therefore, we're in a stage where we must live with what we have. But that being the case, you understand, like regions where we come from, where the level of poverty is so high, where many students who are going to school rely on CDF. We are going now to April, May, yet we are not in a position to clearly say this is the date when we are going to pay bursary. I want to beseech you to revise that program. You have released 7 billion today, and I pray that those mandarins in Treasury and CDF are not misleading you, because at times they mislead their political head. Can you release, because members, you know the timing, we have been around here.
Go on.
The check, the letter is dated today, and I'm a realist. I hope that letter was not meant just to give you a PR face before you appear here, because the person we are going to hold accountable is none other than the Honorable BADI. Meaning, therefore, from tomorrow, we must see this money in the CDF accounts. Now, my question is this, Honorable Speaker, and now that all of us here are politicians, can the minister revise that program in addition to the 7 billion you have released today, release another 7 billion today, so that at least we can plan for our bursaries as we wait for the other 7 billion before the end of the month? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, let's have the minister respond to those first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to try as much as possible to run over the questions very fast without losing the impact of it. Now, using the question from Honorable Wamboka, thank you, Honorable Wamboka. First, I want to confirm that I'm not using Speaker as a shield. I came to the Speaker first as someone I respect, having been in this House as a member of Parliament when he's the Speaker, and we even started our engagement earlier than before he even became a Speaker. He's someone I respect, and I don't want to put him in any bad light at all. I don't want to demean the seat of the Speaker. That is why I made the commitment, and I am confirming here that it is my office that made that commitment. In terms of minimum of 21 billion, I hear you, Honorable Wamboka, but again, I want to repeat that there is a lot of pressure on our exchequer. Unless we receive these external finances, and I don't want to commit here with the resources that have not come. Because again, you are the same one who has asked me that why didn't I foresee, why didn't I plan with some of these failures? And therefore now I'm planning by saying that I don't want to commit with money that has not come. The moment I get that money, Honorable Wamboka, there is, through the Speaker, there is no reason why I cannot even do much more than you have not asked for. Secondly, I think now the other question is by Honorable Musa Sirman. I want to agree, Chairman, that bursary issue is of serious concern and that you probably need much more. In fact, we shared with you and you told me that at least we should make available 14 billion, at least, for you to be able, for members to be able, for CDF committees to be able to cater for bursary for our school-going children. Let me say this. I want to persuade members to allow me, not for next week, because next week I know the kind of commitments we have, but the following week, latest by 29th, that we make another disbursement of 7 billion. And I want to tie that to respond to Honorable Kainan on the question that you raised, whether the mandarins would mislead me. The advantage you have is that the CS at the National Treasury is an accountant and is an auditor. And therefore, I cannot be misled. It's not possible. What I have brought to you is not a letter. This is a transfer. This is an IFMIS spreadsheet that has been given to me. I did not want to come and give you a letter. I wanted to table before this House evidence that we have made the transfer. And we will make another transfer. What you can do, honorable members, you can tell your committees to go ahead and vet the students if you have not vetted them, even make provision. You know how 14 billion can be split. There is already 7 billion. The other 7 billion, I will make sure that we try as much as we can to release it by 29. But next week will be too much pressure on our part. We may not be able to manage next week. Now, on the question by Zamzang, reducing the budget of NGAF to 2.7. Honorable Zamzang, you may not be aware of this. This NGAF money is my creation. It's not even a creation of women MPs. It is John BADI standing before you here today. Women MPs approached me, and I took them to the minister then, the CS Rotich, who was my friend for many years. And I convinced Rotich, because the budget committee had rejected any creation of money for women representatives. And we persuaded Rotich. We were with Governor Wanga today. We were with Kajuju, the former MP, and Nyokabi. 4 of us. That is how this money came about. So I support it. We allocated 3.2, not 3.5, according to the records I have. But it was reduced. It was not National Treasury, it is this House. The moment this House reduces a budget, there is no power I have under the sun. In fact, the Constitution is very clear. No one, not even the President, has the power to appropriate money. Money is appropriated not even by any other house. It is the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya. Kindly talk to your friends, beginning with those who sit in the Budget Committee, to protect any money that is allocated to NGAF, so that you don't have this. This money is very little. So if your colleagues here, through Honorable Atandi, who is now the new chair, can protect that money, I will disburse. Mine is to bring proposals, budget estimates, you approve. Once it is approved and appropriated, then the other job I have is to disburse. I think I have already addressed the question that Honorable Kangogo Bowen asked about releasing the money by next week. Honorable members, I want to beseech you not to make me commit to something that, again, I will appear before you here and you hold me to. Kindly hold me to my commitment for the last week of April. Honorable Mwango, when will we put money to the account? I think I've again addressed that. Honorable Makelap, breakdown of the money, how it goes to 3 wards, up to 7 wards. That one, the formula is there. And actually, I think you can walk to the chairman of the CDF committee, Honorable Sirma, would be able to share with you. Why not pay all the NG-CDF money by the first quarter? In fact, it is a very thought-provoking idea, which I've already thought about, because we have a very constrained period between January and May. That period is usually very bad in terms of exchequer releases. I am thinking of trying to do as much as we possibly can between July and October. And that we will do in the next financial year. How I wish the pressure that is being applied to me today was applied in the last financial year. Because the pressure was not applied, carryover of 13 billion came to me. Now, if you added that 13 to what I've disbursed, Mr. Speaker, of 21, we would be at 44 billion. We would be almost nearing 70% of the NG-CDF. And all that, the money that was supposed to be disbursed in the last financial year, I have disbursed it now, I'm not getting any credit for it. But let's put pressure on me so that the next financial year we don't have the same story. Honorable Osero, 21 billion, I think, is a repetition. Honorable Mase, you have asked about external finances. Yes, it is true that now it is coming out clear that we are unlocking the external finances. There were some conditions precedent which we have met. But again, I want to stop at, I want to hesitate from making a commitment with money that has not come. If that money comes, I will do more than I've promised. Because I want to make sure that by end of this financial year, we clear all the allocation, the 68 billion for the CDF. That we can only be able to do if when we get money, then we make sure that we enhance the allocation. On undertaking of 7 billion by end of next week, again, Honorable Farah Malim, I think I've addressed that. Honorable Kirima, am I aware that there is the only development in the constituencies is through NG-CDF? I am a Kenyan. I work in these villages. I know what is happening. But we also hope that counties use their monies prudently. Because actually that was a sense of devolution. And we cannot go back on devolution. It is there in the Constitution. We gave it to ourselves. I don't want to use such strong words, but I want to say better prudent use of government resources. Instead of getting a lot of cash touched in people's houses, how I wish that we could see better roads, more water provision, health facilities in most of our villages, because that is what Kenyans called for. On the issue of plan of releasing GAF, you know now we don't have a plan for 2024-25 because we have zero balance.
Yes.
So I wouldn't have a plan to release zero balance. But going forward, the money is not so much. At least you should be guaranteed that if it remains at that level of about 3 billion or so, we will be releasing it in 2 tranches so that we don't again spread it too thin. We can't have monthly disbursement for 3 billion. Honestly, it would not make sense. On the issue of sanitary pads, I think this is a policy decision that women representatives can discuss with the line ministry and come to some solution. It is not hard. You can just invite the cabinet secretary, the principal secretary, and you agree. I don't even know and understand why there should be issues around this. To me, it is a matter that can be resolved very quickly, and because what those children need are sanitary pads. Quality sanitary pads, both at reasonable prices. Presidential directive of 1 billion, I want to say again, we will try our best, bring the estimates here, Parliament will appropriate, whatever Parliament appropriates or National Assembly appropriates is what we will give. If they appropriate 1 shilling, I will give 1 shilling. I will disburse 1 shilling. If they appropriate 10 billion, that's what we will appropriate. Again, the MP for Laikipia, can women reps get through NGAF, really not women reps? Let me say, NGAF gets its money back. It is this house to decide. I may not decide this. But going forward, I think I want to beseech honorable members, let us try to protect whatever location we have given to this fund because it is too little. On gender-based violence cash, the money is there. We removed it from the gender ministry. Now it is with the parliament under the parliamentary vote. I think the regulations there should be a way through which that will be disbursed. And I know parliament is very careful in this, but the money is under parliamentary vote. Again, there is a question on sanitary pads. I don't want to repeat that again. Finally, the Honorable Kainan asked about prioritization. Actually, Honorable Kainan, I think my strength is in cash flow management. And I try so hard and so much to balance. That is why even when you hear you will not hear that we cannot pay salaries. You will not hear that we have not released capitation. People will just complain, but before the term ends, we have released every money because there is a program. CDF, I guarantee you, there is a program. We will make sure that the entire amount is disbursed. Challenges notwithstanding. The same with county government funds. Development budgets, the exchequer request for development funds, the only outstanding exchequer request is 57 billion, and 54.3 billion. And we have a plan on how to release that money. So in terms of prioritization, we are up to it, we are working on it, and we'll make sure that we implement the budget as you appropriated it. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I had given 30 minutes to this. We have done 1 hour. We have Minister Duale of Health waiting behind here to deal with issues and challenges of SHA. And we have many questions lined up. I want to encourage you, as honorable members, that the minister has responded to our call. He has spoken to us candidly. And remember, as we push, the others pushing. As your speaker, I'll ensure that through our administration in Parliament, Minister, every single word you have said to the House will be fulfilled. And I want to encourage you also, as you have said, that you'll send 7 billion on or before 29th, but if it's earlier, the better, if things work well. For affirmative action funds for our lady women, MPs, it is this House that reduced your money. And in the Committee of Budget, there are women. Why they didn't resist or call for help is a story for another day. But we will encourage Atandi, because the cream removed from that fund is very small. I'll encourage you to put it back in the next cycle so that the women MPs can at least start from there they were as we look to the economy improving and giving them some more. I say this because I've been in this House with you, and I know how prudently resources through constituencies are managed as opposed to other management centers that you know. So let me encourage us that the little you have got is better than nothing, but we encourage the minister to do much more. And going to the future, Minister, as you have committed yourself, you will try to avoid the jam of January, February, March, and deal with the issues at the time where you have better latitude to ensure that what CDF does continues to do. And members, remember this, and you have gone to court to argue, and I agree with you, that this is not your money. This is money of the people of Kenya that you represent. And that this money is managed through committees that are independent of you. I don't want anybody to pick the Hansard and go to court to pretend that MPs have now said they control CDF, because that is how your detractors have been fighting it. This money comes to your constituency, this money is run by committees, and this money benefits the people you represent. You only come back to oversight that money. That's why we have reports that come here. So let's leave it here. We thank Jack Wamboka for bringing the issue and the enthusiasm that you have all demonstrated in bringing out the salient issues that are pressing Kenyans. And Honorable BADI, you know you have been here, you have managed to see the constituency, and you know what CDF has done and can do. I was here before CDF, I was here during CDF, I will live here when CDF is even stronger. So let's ensure that CDF remains the centerpiece of our development activities in the constituencies. So we release you to go back to your ministry, and Majority Leader bring in the Honorable Farah Maalim. Honorable Carola Monde, I know you have a question that is unrelated to CDF. And yes, I know you have an issue you wanted to ask the Honorable Mbandi unrelated to CDF. I would rather we don't now, so that we bring in Duale. We will ask the Majority Leader to arrange and have the minister back here to answer other questions other than CDF in the shortest time to come. In the meantime, you can file your question. I will have it tabled and we'll send it to the minister to deal with it even without coming here. Minister, you can now leave. Can you call bring in the Minister for Health? Honorable members, take your seats. The CS for Health is coming in. Honorable members, we now have the CS for Health, the Honorable Aden Bare Duale, to respond to your questions. And this afternoon we are dedicating largely to issues relating to SHA. I know there are other questions. If we reach them, well and good, but I want us to focus on the SHA issue because of the public interest around it. Honorable Duale, you're welcome to the House. And I'll invite the first questioner, question 002 of 2025, Honorable John Kawanjiku. Are you Kawanjiku or Wanjiku?
Yes, Kawanjiku is my name.
Yes. I have misspelled your name.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask these questions to the Cabinet Secretary. Could the Cabinet Secretary provide an update on the operation of the Social Health Authority, including key milestones achieved and challenges since inception, and what legal reforms could be proposed to address the challenges that SHA has faced so far, if any? Question 2, explain how teenage mothers without national identity cards and indigents will be identified by the system deployed by the authority and state measures the ministry has put in place to ensure immediate access to services upon payment of contribution without being subjected to adverse selection process, such as awaiting periods. Question 3, state the nature of covers offered by the authority at all levels of public health.
Hold, clerk or sergeant, can you check why we have an echo on the sound system? Use the next mic. Go on.
Okay. Thank you, Speaker. Question 3, state the nature of covers offered by the authority at all levels of public health facilities, the contribution payable and benefits accruing to individuals and households, and the extent to which the covers offered under SHA are sufficient to ensure access to quality health services by all Kenyans. 4, explain how the referral system under SHA works and how effective is the system towards guaranteeing access to referral health services by all Kenyans. Number 5, enumerate the process of employment of health facilities to the SHA system and clarify the status of former employees of NHIF and indicate the current staff establishment of SHA. Thank you, Speaker.
Yes, Minister. Wanjiku, you have 2 questions? Okay, let's deal with that. Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to come and address the August House. Speaker, question 1, what are the key milestones achieved? I want to confirm to the House that free primary health care service for 21,390,659 people or citizens in all our public health facilities, level 2 to level 4, and this is the dispensary, the health center, and the sub-county hospitals, and those contracted, both private and faith-based level 2 to level 4 facilities are open to our citizens 24/7, and they are free, and these facilities, Mr. Speaker, which have been accredited both for the public, the private, and the faith-based, are available. It's public knowledge at the SHA website, www.sha.go.ke. 2, the other milestone is universal health coverage for primary health care in 6 months since SHA started in October, is at 40% within the last 6 months. So 40% of our citizens have accessed the universal health coverage. The actual numbers I have said is this 21,390,659, they're part of it. And Mr. Speaker, every day, and this is the good news, every day, including today, every day between 40 to 50,000 Kenyans register for SHA. As I was waiting for my colleague to finish, 38,000 have registered for SHA. 18,000 have gone through the mean testing, and it tells you the kind of reception and publicity and the eager Kenyans wants to access this facility. The third very important milestone is that improved health benefit packages are offered by SHA as compared to the defunct NHIF. Which are these services? ICU, today 28,000. If you are a member of SHA and you go to an ICU, 28,000 will be paid by SHA. Under the defined NHIF, it
it was 0. Today, you can use SHA for cancer treatment. Today, all surgeries are partly paid by SHA. Today, maternity is paid by SHA at a very good figure of 30,000. All these benefits were not available under the defunct NHIF. And we will keep improving the benefit package until we weed out all medical Harambe WhatsApp groups in our country. And as a former member of parliament, Mr. Speaker, this is one of the biggest challenges leaders and members of parliament of this house go through every weekend and every day in various WhatsApp groups raising funds for the sick from their constituencies. 4, the operationalization of free emergency services in any health facility as envisaged under Article 43, Sub-Article 2 of the Constitution. In that Bill of Rights, Article 42 says, no Kenyan can be denied an emergency. For example, you get a cardiac arrest, you get a stroke, you get an accident. Before, when you go to a hospital, the first thing they used to ask you was the deposit. Under this SHA, this is the first administration that has operationalized, actualized Article 43(2) of the Constitution. No hospital, Mr. Speaker, let me say it unanswered, can deny a Kenyan admission. The public, the government is going to pay for you. And if a facility denies a Kenyan who has an emergency, I want to assure this house that facility we will deregister. For the first time, I am proud to say that a provision in the Bill of Rights has been achieved. Secondly, the 5th, timely payment of claims. All claims are paid on the 14th day of every month. Mr. Speaker, 14th of this month, which was 2 days ago, I want to assure all facilities that both public, private, and faith-based were paid. I stand and I want this house to hold me to account. If facilities are not paid, their claims by the 14th of every month. We have done that. NHIF, the former NHIF, had no payment timelines. And that's why they left us with a bill of close to 24 billion. What are the challenges that the member have asked? We face challenges. The system is a super technology highway. Some employees are not remitting statutory contribution to SHA, denying service to their employers. Speaker, you are the chairman of the Parliamentary Service Commission. The clerk to the National Assembly is accounting officer. You remit statutory deductions, whether it is payee or NSSF or SHA, to us. We wonder why other arms of government and other levels of government should not do the same. But I want to confirm to the House that under my leadership, at least for SHA contribution, whether you are in private, in public, in the county governments, and I had a discussion with the Minister for Finance, it should be a check-off system. The Minister for Finance can remit SHA for all public servants from their salaries. Secondly, we have a very inadequate awareness on SHA. Despite the 40,000 Kenyans registering every day and above, there is a manipulation of the mean testing tool resulting in very accurate premium. There are people who take Kenyans and want to guide them, take money from them. I want to tell Kenyans to register for SHA is free. Nobody should charge you anything. And later I'll tell you how to register. I think one of the members of parliament has asked that question. Of course, we are facing challenges of management and reform. It is difficult. People don't want reform. They don't want, this system is watertight. This system is anti-fraud. This system will give you the best affordable, accessible, equitable health care. Honorable Speaker, the implementation of the Social Health Insurance Act of 2023. And I want to thank this House and the Senate for making sure all the regulatory laws to run this universal health coverage, you have passed it. I really want to thank through you, Mr. Speaker. That act is still at a very early stage, and most of the challenges that we face are more of operational and do not require legal intervention. If and when that is required, Mr. Speaker, the ministry notes that any need for any legal reform, we will propose the same to the Houses of Parliament. The second question was on how teenage mothers without national ID card. That question, Mr. Speaker, I want to answer it this way. Yes, there are many, many thousands of teenage mothers without national ID cards and indigents. SHA will identify them by a system deployed by the authority and the state measures that we need to put. These teenage mothers, Mr. Speaker, who don't have IDs are registered in all our public facilities, and they are given temporary IDs that enable them to access the service. Either young girls. The government pays SHA premiums for these registered teenage mothers who are given temporary ID. They are given SHA premiums, and I urge this House and other leaders, including our regional leaders, later to have a national conversation on the increasing number of teenage mothers in our country. But they are given temporary IDs, and the government pays their premiums, SHA premiums. For the indigents, and they are found in our constituencies, they are found in our counties, they are found in our country. They will be identified using the data we have by the Ministry of Social Protection, working very closely with the Ministry of Health, the county government, and leaders who sit in this august House using the NG-CDF method that you have been paying. The national and the county government and the NG-CDF, we really want to urge all of us, the national, the county, the resources that you have as members of parliament, let us identify the indigent in our communities, use the social protection data, and let us pay for their SHA premiums for this important segment of our society. You can find this in the sponsors portal. We have a sponsors portal which is available at our website. This portal is known as Afya Yangu portal or app. You can use that if you have 100 and CDF wants to pay for, you can use that to help the most vulnerable. Under the defunct NHIF, which was up to 6 months, depending on who you know, access to SHA benefits is very instant. As you are going to hospital, you can pay 1 month, you can pay 4 months, and you access. So it's not like NHIF where you have to wait for 2 months for the system to capture you. So it's very instant. The third question was the nature of covers offered by the authority at all levels. Honorable Speaker, SHA provides services as below. Number one, it provides free primary health care services at all public health facilities, level 2 to 4, and those contracted by the private and the faith-based facilities. And Mr. Speaker, this I really want to thank the House, because free primary health care is paid by government. It's budgeted by this House. And that is one of the things that has never been in our country, and that is why we are saying if you register and you go to level 2 to level 4, the dispensary, the health center, the sub-county, and their equivalents, both in the private and faith-based. You access, you are treated, you get medicine, you get everything, and you walk free, courtesy of your government. Additional services that Chief, the Social Health Insurance Fund, for all paid-up members available at level 4 to level 6, and all contracted private and faith-based facilities. Then we have the emergency service, as I said earlier, for all Kenyans. You don't need registration or payment required. Any emergency. For example, a boda boda is knocked down, God forbid, by a vehicle. He is rushed to a hospital. He doesn't need to register. He doesn't need to pay. Nobody can deny him, no facility can deny him treatment, and he walks away home. This is something that has never been there, but it is in law. Article 43, sub-article 2 of the Constitution, at the Bill of Rights, require government to do that. The last one, service we offer is chronic and critical illness services for all SHA paid members at level 5 and level 6. The details of these services that the member have asked, Mr. Speaker, are set out in legal notice number 47. The NHIF was not required to publish, but this House allowed us. Those services you can access, and a legal notice number 47 was created. The gazetted benefits are a huge improvement from the previous benefits offered by the defunct NHIF. They are aligned to the projected collections. These benefits we shall continuously improve in tandem with available resources. For instance, Mr. Speaker, this month, SHA and the ministry, we have enhanced the ICU package from 4,000 to 28,000 per day. And additionally, we have increased 150,000 extra for all cancer patients. And that is because of that chronic and critical illness services. Mr. Speaker, the next one was about the referral system. There is 3 levels of healthcare services or access in the referral system as shown below in the document that I've given to the colleagues who asked this question. All registered SHA members, Mr. Speaker, can access outpatient services at the primary health facilities, level 2 and 4, free primary health care fund, which this House has established, courtesy of this House. So they access it for free. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, all inpatient services are accessed at secondary health facilities, level 4 to level 6. SHIF, which is the contributory arm of the universal health care or the Taifa Care, and paid by Kenyans, is where you can access those level 4 to 6 inpatients in those facilities, both public, private, and faith-based. For indigents, they will be paid by government of Kenya. They can be paid by our members of parliament through their NG-CDF. They can be paid by our county governments. They can be paid by Good Samaritans and sponsors. And the last one is all specialized services are accessed at our tertiary facility, level 5 to 6. That is where we have emergency, chronic, and critical illness, which is again, courtesy of this House, is funded by the government of Kenya. So this referral system, Mr. Speaker, is aimed at decongesting the specialized facilities to allow them to focus on the provision of specialized services as contemplated under the Health Act of 2017. Mr. Speaker, let me explain this. Why do Kenyans go to India, to other countries to look for specialized facilities? It's because our specialized facilities, like Kenyatta National Hospital, like Moi teaching and referral hospital, like Kenyatta University, are full with the patients that can be attended to at level 2, at level 3, at level 4. Somebody with a headache will go to Kenyatta Hospital. Somebody with malaria will go to Kenyatta Hospital. Somebody with a small scar accident. Our specialized facilities should be for special cases so that we stop Kenyans going out to look for special facilities. And I really want to ask this House to support me that the men and women who work in our specialized facilities should attend to Kenyans who require special needs and not for ailments that can be done at the other levels of our health system. The other question was on the empowerment of the health facilities. How do we know this is a health facility? How do we grade them? How do we find a facility? Unlike before, Mr. Speaker, a facility now must be licensed by the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council and the Clinical Officers Council and all other regulatory bodies within the health sector. They must tell us this facility is at this level. This facility has all that is required to be part of the universal health care. So these facilities must be licensed by the regulator. And if the regulator is the one who audits these facilities, if the regulator feels this facility is not level 4, is level 3, then the regulator will stop and will advise SHA. Secondly, and more important, and NHIF, Mr. Speaker, used to accredit facilities itself, making facilities to pay for them to be empaneled even after being licensed. So it was who you know, it was how much money you pay for your facility to be accredited by the defunct NHIF. Now it is different. And when I had a meeting with the Council of Governors, we still had about 2,900 primary health facilities which have not been licensed, which we have asked them to give us the names, which they have already provided, and the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council and the other regulatory bodies within that sector will. The approved SHA staff establishment, Mr. Speaker, is a question that I was asked, is 815. And in line with the first schedule of the Social Health Insurance Act that this August House has passed, SHA has advertised positions and is giving first priority in the act that you have passed. The first priority will go to the employees of the defunct NHIF. NHIF staff who are not absorbed by SHA, because SHA is more of technology driven. The number will reduce. Those staff will be deployed within the public service. No one will lose their job. But let me do it with a rider. Your certificates must be genuine. If you are working at NHIF and your degree is fake, we will not only not post you to any other place, but we will refer you to the institutions within the criminal justice system that have done it. And we already found a number of them. The number, Mr. Speaker, corruption has permitted until people don't want to go to universities. They want to buy degrees. So please, members of parliament, I am sure many of you have approached me, telling me we have so and so working. Before I deal with those cases, ask your constituents who are working at NHIF, and I'm sure they're watching me. If their documents are in order, nobody will lose a job. But if your documents are false, they are fake, you better not wait for me. You better resign now and just go home. Because we will not carry when you have joined NHIF. In fact, we will surcharge you for all the salaries that you are paid by the former defunct NHIF. The other was provide a detailed report of the current capital capitation. SHA has not received any capitation or monies from SHIF. SHIF has not received. As we said, we have two. There's a difference between SHA and SHIF. The insurance component has not received any capitation or monies from the exchequer. SHIF is a contributory and self-financing. Mr. Speaker, if you allow me, because the member has the table, which I have explained very well. The other question was how the monies that have been utilized in the operationalization of the fund. Mr. Speaker, all monies collected so far are used to settle verified claims. Let me stress the word verified claims. All the previous claims of the former defunct NHIF, which have not been paid. Some are with the former Auditor General's Ouko's task force, who is looking at the bigger picture of the 500 billion pending bills. But I have set up a verification team for all the pending bills between July 2022 up to when we took over this administration, up to 30th of September 2024, when SHA took over. And we have made a commitment, Mr. Speaker, and we will seek for that budget. Anybody who bills have been verified and they are between 0 to 10 million, the government of Kenya will pay, and we will bring that to the budget committee and to this house to seek that money. The rest, we have formed that committee. So, Mr. Speaker, all the money that we have so far collected, we have used to settle the verified claims which have been verified, which are. Speaker, I really want to bring the House, and this is good for the country to know. During the NHIF time, today, and this House has capped the administration cost of SHA at 5%. What was the administration cost of the defunct NHIF? At one time, it was 40%. That's why many people were employed. That's why money was everywhere. That's why there was fraud. By the time this administration was coming to office, the administrative cost of the former defunct NHIF was at 17%. Today, because of technology, the administrative cost, and it's in law, of SHA is at 5%. Proper measures have been put in place to ensure, Mr. Speaker, proper verification of SHA claims is done as follows. All patients are verified using the National Registration Bureau data identifying biometrics. Mr. Speaker, this system is linked to NRB. This system is paperless. SHA will not give you a card like NHIF card. You walk to a hospital, if you are registered, because we have integrated with the National Registration Bureau. When you are taking your ID, we had your 10 fingerprints. So when you put your 10 fingerprints, then the system will show you. So, and this is so important because we want to identify the person. Mr. Speaker, before you go to a hospital, the hospital can take instead of taking 10 fingerprints, that hospital, that place, they can take 7 of your fingerprints. And the other 3 was used for fraud. Where, for example, Honorable KJ can be sitting in this house, but maybe somebody has used his fingerprints and is admitted in a hospital for 5 days, and that facility is paid. So this system is integrated to the National Registration Bureau data. Two, the SHA system is integrated with the systems of all regulators, the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council, the Nursing Council, the Clinical Council, among other health workers. We will know from the system who is the doctor treating you. There will be no more Dr. Mugo in this country. And you know Dr. Mugo, what he did to many people. And it's from Dagaroti, the member is saying. We will know the doctor who did the surgery. And the Speaker, I'll give you a good example that we have seen. Crazy thing. For a doctor, a surgeon to perform hip replacement, he needs, and there are doctors in this house, he needs 8 to 12 hours. Under the former defined NHIF, we had a facility that had a doctor who performed 10 hip replacement in one day. That must be a very meticulous magician doctor. Now it will not happen because the Kenya Medical Practitioner and Dentist Council, which Dr. Golicha is a member, we will see Dr. Golicha has treated, and if we see he is not the one, then that payment will not be made. The Nursing Council, we know which nurse is treating our patients. We know which clinician is treating. So all their database, if their license is cancelled because of malpractice, then the system, through these bodies, it will delete him. The Speaker, and that is to ensure the correctness of the facility and the doctor providing the service. Even the facility are identified by the regulators. The Speaker, a claim verification office with qualified doctors has been designated to undertake additional verification and settlement of claims. In fact, the leader of the claims department, most likely, I don't preempt, when recruited, the director must be a medic. All SHA claims, Mr. Speaker, as I said earlier, are settled by the 14th day of every month. All claim status are available at our facility portal. Every facility, every claim can be seen on the dashboard. The other question, Mr. Speaker, was state the current liabilities of the fund. Because Honorable Ojiko had many questions. Mr. Speaker, the ministry has appointed a verification committee to review the claims and make recommendation on the same to be settled within 3 months. And the Speaker was very clear to the verification committee. If they allow and present a fake, fictitious claim, Mr. Speaker, they will be held responsible. Clarify how SHA is enforcing the payment of contribution by employers. The Speaker, SHA sends reminders, SMS, every 15th and 30th of every month to employers and employees. SHA has also designated officers to follow upon on the payment of the contribution. Finally, Mr. Speaker, state the percentage of the SHA funds that shall be paid to medical equipment suppliers vis-a-vis public health facility. Speaker, I want to say here, the National Equipment Service Program, known as NESP, is completely delinked from SHA. It's a different program. It is a replacement of the old system known as MES. And I'm happy, Mr. Speaker, if you allow me, to engage the House and table a full report of the National Equipment Service Program, which is a joint venture between the national and county government. And so far, 45 counties have signed the IPAs to join the program. Only 2 have not, which I am talking to them. I will update the House on that. So that program, Mr. Speaker, is not part of the SHA. SHA is not paying for. SHA is not a partner. SHA does not know. SHA only pays for its members when they fall sick, when they require surgery, when they want to deliver, when they have cancer, when there is an emergency, SHA, and the primary health care. Speaker, I think the last one was provide the status of the primary health care fund in relation to facility improvement.
Minister, you have actually dealt with 2 questions by Honorable Kawanjiku. We'll now allow members to joyride on those before we go to the next question. Yes, let's start with Oundo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I want to thank our colleague for coming back here. Chair, Honorable Speaker, allow me to ask the Minister 2 very basic questions. And I want to ride on the first question of Kwanjiko, number 2, on the issue of teenage mothers who do not have national IDs. Honorable Speaker, I come from a border county, so in essence, there are quite a number of ladies from Uganda who get married to a Kenyan man. For some strange reason, they don't get IDs, but they get pregnant. So they have to go to hospital and deliver. Yet, Honorable Speaker, they have no IDs, so they cannot get into this program. What measures is the minister or the government doing to ensure